They've been giving me that. I ain't gonna lie. See, me, I'm honest. They've been giving me that. I just gotta win and make the plays. And today I made the plays, and that's what I know I can do. I can do that all day and in all games. So I gotta just own the moment, be where my feet are, and make plays for my teammates and for this organization.
Were you game planning this week? Did you think you were gonna have a big day?
I did. Yeah.
So you're pretty involved.
Yeah, I knew today would be probably my day.
Weekend Warriors. That man, Calvin Ridley. The weekend warrior, you heard him, the confidence. I knew it was going to be my day today. Matthew, not just Calvin Ridley on the end of that things, but Trevor Lawrence also rushed for 2 touchdowns after throwing for 2 touchdowns. This is the Trevor Lawrence game we've been waiting for.
1,000%. And I would just like to take one moment here to say, you're welcome, America. Because when I put Trevor Lawrence on my hate list, he'd been kind of going along, been fine.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle. But like when I put him on my hate list, he was my number 1 quarterback on the hate list. I mentioned how he hadn't had any 20-point games, that I was worried about the mobility, that just, there was just a lot of things that I thought, I said on pregame that I thought the Titans would cover here as well. I was so wrong on Trevor Lawrence as well. I feel like this is what motivated him to have a great game. Anyway, bad call by me. Great job by T-Law, who enters Monday Night Football as the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. 2 rushing touchdowns. Jay Croucher as well. It's his season high in fantasy points. It's his first game this year with more than 20 fantasy points. His first 2 rushing touchdowns of the year, as you see, one of them right there. Looks pretty mobile right there to me. Good job, Trevor Lawrence. Are we back to trusting him immediately? They're at Houston this week, Jay.
Very favorable matchup. And Lawrence, the key is the mobility. He doesn't look 100% to me, but he looks clearly good enough to put up those kind of numbers. And Calvin Ridley was a huge beneficiary getting back to the guy that we thought that he was going to be after that impressive start to the season.
You know what's weird is that Zay Jones was active for this game. He didn't do much in the game, but it's super weird if you just sort of look at the games in which Zay Jones has been active. Calvin Ridley sort of showed, and I don't know if it's a coverage thing or it's a confidence thing or just because maybe without Zay Jones there, Lawrence tries to feed it to Carter. I don't know what that is, and it's such a small sample size, but it is just sort of like, okay, that's a thing. Last 2 of the last 3 weeks, I will say he's had a 29% target share. So it feels like maybe Ridley, after a hot start and then he's kind of had a lull, maybe he's now finding his rhythm, as is this offense. It's a positive schedule coming up, though, at Houston, then home to Cincinnati. That's not a defense that scares you. Then at Cleveland, home to Baltimore. Yeah, so we got 2 good weeks, but then just I think they're going to be matchup-dependent starters. I'm not ready to say Lawrence is a no-brainer going forward. But, you're going to like him against Houston and Cincinnati the next 2 weeks.
We jump into some running backs here, Jay. Saquon Barkley, Tommy DeVito got him involved in the passing game, which was the big story here.
I think the key is, to keep it short, is purely that Tommy DeVito was able to run a real NFL offense, and he looked good, and Saquon Barkley was a huge beneficiary of that, efficient on the ground, and then got work through the air as well.
Matthew, right after that, you see Jaylen Warren right behind him with over 23 fantasy points. Jaylen Warren, 9 carries for 130 yards and a touchdown.
He's becoming a must-start. 3rd straight game with over 100 total yards. He's the 5th best running back in fantasy over the last 3 weeks. He leads all players in rushing yards. After the game, Mike Tomlin was asked, when you think about the fact that, do we have the tweet here, Adam? Do we have the tweet? We're working on the tweet. All right, anyway, it doesn't matter about the tweet. I'll just say this. Basically, Jaylen Warren, this is a tweet, shout out to Underdog. This is from their Twitter. Jaylen Warren had more yards than everyone on the Steelers combined. Yeah. After the game, Mike Tomlin was asked if he regretted not getting Jaylen Warren more touches. He only had 12 in this game, and Mike said no. This is a game they lost 13-10.
Oh, God.
Anyway, here's what I'm telling you. Jaylen Warren's a must-start going forward. He's the only part of that Steelers offense you feel good about. Kenny Pickett looks terrible. Najee Harris, I'm sorry, does not look good either.
Yep. Cashed our under, though, for the pickup line.
Yes, he did. He did. That was, and Lawrence's did not. You were the correct. I should have gone with you. No doubt. Good call by you. But Jaylen Warren, this is legit. Cincinnati, Arizona, New England, Colts are the next 4. Really nice matchup here going into the fantasy playoffs for Jaylen Warren as well.
Jay, Tony Pollard finally gets in the end zone. Really just the story there with Pollard as he was on quite the touchdown drought.
Yeah, it's good that he got in the end zone, but kind of a disappointing game for Tony Pollard. This is the easiest matchup he'll have all season, and he was 12 carries for 61 yards and a touchdown, and then added 4 receptions for the effort, 19 yards. So it's certainly don't think Tony Pollard is fixed, but good that he was able to get in the end zone.
Yeah. They play the Commanders on Thanksgiving. He'll have a big game there. But then home to Seattle, Philadelphia, at Buffalo. It doesn't get a ton. Now, again, the Cowboys are the Cowboys, but yeah, Tony Pollard feels like he's more RB2 than the RB1 you drafted him to be.
Finally, we close this out with a quarterback. Josh Allen, after a brutal Week 1 performance against the Jets, he gets his revenge. 275 yards, 3 touchdowns. He throws the pick on the Hail Mary before the half. Adds 15 rushing yards as well. No Ken Dorsey, not a problem for Josh Allen.
Apparently not. I mean, after the Dorsey stuff, you knew they were going to make a point, and he came out with a great game. Listen, Khalil Shakir, just, that's like a missed tackle, and just he goes off to the races. Great play. But that adds to it. But still, he's now had 22 or more fantasy points in 4 of the past 5. He's the only quarterback to throw 3 touchdown passes against the Jets this season. He's a top 5 quarterback as we head into Monday Night Football. Yeah, Josh Allen is back. Good.
With that,
Thank goodness.
we moved.
No worries. No worries about Ken Dorsey. I think the positives are they started to get James Cook involved in the passing game in this one too. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.